Yeah, so for the first,
What happens if you make this? Yeah, and if it needs to be fixed, I'll fix it. Okay? Don't worry.
so I said
All right. Okay, are we ready? Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Shabbat Shalom.
It's great that we're here today. We're celebrating Shabbat. Spring's about to become, we've just welcomed the month of Adar, which is the month of Purim. So we'll have lots of things to celebrate. And something else is happening this morning. Oh, right. Ari's celebrating the coming of our mitzvah this morning. Thanks for reminding me. Okay. This morning we're going to be using, for worship, Mishkan Tefillah. It's the blue book that's in front of you, or if you're in the front row underneath you. Hebrew reads right to left. Cantor will be giving you some more instructions as far as participating in that. But please note that Ari's going to be asking you to read with him a couple times and responsively read a couple times, and Cantor's going to be asking you to sing. This is a tradition. Many of you know that it's not good if everything's led from up here. So we need your help to make sure that we're all in this together. Is that fair? Okay. To your friends, thanks for being here. Okay? Family as well, too. Okay? First thing we're going to do is we're going to ask that your Bubby and Zadie come up to give you your talit. So put that down. You don't want to stab me. Then they're going to put it on you, and you get to do something, by the way, that most guys never get to do. It's ceremonial hair flip. To make sure that the talit is under the hair. Okay? When I was young, I had a mane like you and your brother have. This is what you've got to look forward to. Okay.
Keeping it real.
Amen? So go ahead and put that around his shoulders. Say whatever you'd like to him after he does the ceremonial hair flip. It's in the Talmud, by the way. So, Cantor, I believe we are on page 290, and you're going to help us all figure out how to join with you.
So our prayer this morning begins on page 290, as Rabbi said. And remember that the book is written in the Hebrew direction, so it's going to go from right to left. And all the Hebrew's on the right. And if you don't yet know Hebrew, all the English transliteration is on the left. So let's practice the words of the first prayer. And also, I haven't changed any of the music since you've last been here. So I'm sure.
Before that.
Or before that. And I do that on purpose to include you as much as possible. So let's say together, repeat after me, please. Matovu, Ohalecha, Yaakov, Mishkenotecha, Yisrael. Which means how beautiful or how fair are your tents, O Jacob, your dwellings, O Israel. And it's taken from a story in the Torah that is very fun to read about a talking donkey. But for now, we're just going to sing the song, and here's how it goes. Ma tovu. Everyone sing that? Ma tovu. Then it goes. Ohalecha Yaakov. You try that? Ohalecha Yaakov. Ohalecha repeats. Ohalecha Yaakov. Then it goes. Mishkenotecha Yisrael. Let's do that. Ohalecha Yaakov. Mishkenotecha Yisrael. Let's do the whole chorus, and we keep repeating and going back to it. Thank you, Pam. Ma tovu ohalecha Yaakov, ohalecha Yaakov, mishkenotecha Yisrael. Repeat. Ma tovu ohalecha Yaakov, ohalecha Yaakov, mishkenotecha Yisrael. Ba'ani berov chazdecha avovitecha eshtachave el hichal kodshecha me'iratecha. Back to the top, everyone. Ma tovu ohalecha Yaakov, ohalecha Yaakov, mishkenotecha Yisrael. Ma tovu ohalecha Yaakov, ohalecha Yaakov, mishkenotecha Yisrael. I'm in the middle. Adonai hafti me'on beitecha u'mikol mishkan kevodecha v'ani eshtachaveh me'echra ebricha lifnei Adonai osi. Back to the top. Ma tovu ohalecha Yaakov, ohalecha Yaakov, mishkenotecha Yisrael. Ma tovu ohalecha Yaakov, ohalecha Yaakov, mishkenotecha Yisrael. Va'ani together. Ma tovu ohalecha Yaakov, ohalecha Yaakov, mishkenotecha Yisrael. tovu ohalecha Yaakov, ohalecha Yaakov, mishkenotecha Yisrael.
We're on page 291. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher yazar et ha'adam b'chokhmah uvorah vo nachavim halulim halulim. Blessed are you, Adonai our God, sovereign of the universe. With divine wisdom you have made our bodies, combining veins, arteries, and vital organs into a finely balanced network. Wondrous maker and sustainer of life, were one of them to fail. How well we are aware we would lack the strength to sustain life before you. Blessed are you, Adonai, source of our health and strength.
Baruch
Atah Adonai, rofei kol basar, mafli la'asot.
Please turn the page.
And now we sing this prayer together. Please say the words after me on page 292. Elohai.
Elohai.
Rabbi, you are the best one.
Studying for years.
All right. Nishama. Shenatata bi.
Shenatatavi.
Tehorahi.
Tehorahi.
This means the soul you've given me, God, is pure. Maybe you've heard the expression aguta neshama, neshama. That means your soul. So we all started out with a nice clean start. We always want to get back to that place. So this is how this goes. Elohai, Elohai, neshama. Let's try that. Elohai, Elohai, neshama. Shenatata bi. Everyone try that. Shenatata bi. Then another descending scale. Tehorahi. Tehorah. Tehorahi. Let's sing that all together. Elohai, Elohai, neshama. Shenatata bi. Tehorahi.
We're on 293. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lasevi vina lechavim ben yom uvein laila.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, pokeach ivrim.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, matir asurim.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, zokeach ivrim.
Amen.
Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, rakah haaretz al hamayim.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamehin mitzadei gaver.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, malbish avramim.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hanoten layav koach.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hama'avir shena me'enai utnuma me'afapai.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, she'asani b'tzelem Elohim.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, she'asani ben chorin.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, she'asani Yisrael.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, ozer Yisrael b'gvura.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, oter Yisrael b'tifara.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu la'asok b'divrei Torah.
Amen.
We're on page 301. Baruch she'emar v'chaya ha'olam, Baruch hu, Baruch oseh bereshit, Bara Omer Be'oseh, Bara Gotzer Kayim, Bara Merahem al Haaretz, Bara Merahem al Hariot, Bara Mishalem Shakal Tov Lireya, Bara Chai La'ad V'Kayam Lanetza, Bara Podeh Umatzio, Bara Shemao. Blessed is the one who spoke and the world came to be. Blessed is the one. Blessed is the one who continually authors creation. Blessed is the one whose word is deed. Blessed is the one who decrees and fulfills. Blessed is the one who is compassionate towards the world. Blessed is the one who is compassionate towards all creatures. Blessed is the one who rewards the reverent. Blessed is the one who exists for all time, ever enduring. Blessed is the one who redeems and saves. Blessed is God's name. With song of praise we extol you and proclaim your sovereignty. For you are the source of life in the universe. One God, life of the universe, praised and glorious ruler. Your name is eternal. Blessed are you, Adonai, sovereign who is glorified through praise. Baruch atah Adonai, melech haolam
Tishbachot.
Please rise. Page 312.
312. Yitkadal, Yitkadal, Shemei Rabbah, V'yamad yivrach Yirutei, V'yamnich Malchutei, B'chayechonu v'mechonecha Yedecho Beit Yisrael, Mahagalavis Mankari, V'yimeru, Amen. Yehi Shmei Rabbah mevorach, Le'olam u'le'mei ha'almaya, Yitbarach. Yiparach v'ishtabach v'yipar v'dromah v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei l'kudashah le'ela mikol bechata v'shirata tishlichata v'nechemata damiram be'alema v'yimaru Amen.
Baruch Hu Adonai Hamvorah.
Baruch Adonai, Hamevorach L'olam Va'ed.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam yotzer or uvorei hoshech oseh shalom uvorei et hakol hameir la'aretz v'ladarim alecha barachamim uvtuvo machadesh b'chol yom tamid ma'aseh v'reishit ma rabu ma'asecha Adonai kulam b'chokhma asita mala haaretz kinyanecha titbara Adonai Eloheinu al sheva ma'aseh yadecha ve'al ma'orei or she'asita yefaruha selah or hodash al Sion ta'ir v'nitzche kulanu mehera la'oro baruch atah Adonai yotzer hamoro. Please turn the page. Please read with me. The world is sunlight, restoring the soul, rejoicing the heart, bringing light to the eyes, more welcome than gold, a Torah from heaven. I have no light to give the morning, my Torah, my special human gift, is words. As I bring my words forth from silence, welcome them, you who redeemed the sun from darkness.
Baruch atah Adonai, Yotzer HaBorot.
Turn to page 317. Please read responsibly. O God, inspiration and guide for all, you have spoken in 1,000 tongues for us to hear. In every land and every age, your children have heard you and imagined you in separate ways. And yet, O God, you are one, unifier of humanity.
We give thanks to the sages and teachers who bring us understanding of your will. Gratefully we recall the lawgivers and prophets, the psalmists and sages of Israel, and joyfully remember that from the dawn of Israel's life, we would turn to you and find purpose.
May the teachings of our ancestors live on in our minds, and their passion for righteousness stir our hearts. Help us to live so that our daily conduct reveals the beauty and wisdom of your truth.
Ruach atah Adonai, haboher be'amo Yisrael, be'ahava.
Turn to page 318. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Please be seated. We're on page 319. Ve'ahavta Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha uv'chol nafshecha uv'chol me'odecha v'hayu havarim ha'ele asher anohi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shivtecha b'veitecha uv'lechtecha v'adere uv'shavtecha uv'kumecha ושרתם להיות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובישעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיהם. אני אדוני אלוהיהם. Asher hotzeti etem me'eretz Mitzrayim, Yotem Elohim, Ani Adonai Eloheichem. Turn to page 321. Sing the song of men and women, join in understanding and respect, the song of God's miracles, an earth protected and cherished, a gift for our children and the generations to come, the song of a land once ravished by war, now quiet and content. For soldiers home, to leave no more, the song of a world redeemed, the song of peace.
Mi hamocha ba'edim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar ba'kodesh, nora tehilot o sefer, shira chadasha shibechu geudim, leshimcha Yahakudam Odu Vehimlichu Ve'ameru Adonai Yimloch Le'olam Va'ed Tzu Yisrael Kuma Bezrat Yisrael V'dei Chinumecha Yudah B'Yisrael Galinu tonight Tzevahot Shemo Kedosh Yisrael Baruch Ata Adonai Ga'al Yisrael.
So how many of you can say that you've learned something from grandparents? Okay? Grandparents, have you learned something from your grandparents that you have been able to pass on to grandchildren? I hope, yeah? It's amazing how this generation thing works. And before we can move forward in our lives, we have to take stock of where we're at, what we know, who we're with, things like that. And so we're about to move from a place in the service we start praising and appreciating the blessings in life to a place where we start asking for things, and primarily asking ourselves to pay more attention, asking our community to be more supportive, and us more supportive in the community. But part of that is to remember that we're not making it up as we go along. That even if we are changing some of the things that were handed to us, we know that they need change because they were given to us. Because our life experiences has led us in that direction. And where some of these traditions and thoughts have continued to sustain and hold us, then even more fiercely we need to make sure that we pass them on. And so before we pray, we need to know who and where we are. So the beginning of this next piece of the service, which is about prayer, begins with remembering our ancestors, remembering all the things that we've learned, the good, the not so good, and taking stock of who we are and what we need to do to pass the best of it on to the next generation. And so I'm going to ask that we rise for tefillah. We're on page 323.
So we're starting on 323, and we move to page after page after page, and because I don't want you to not participate, and I want you to know where we are.
I'll keep you posted.
Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi hagid tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise.
324.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imatenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel v'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol Ha'gibor v'Hanara, Elyon, Gomer Hasadim Tovim, V'Koinei HaKol, V'Zoher Chaser Vod V'Imahot, V'Vigol Adivnei V'Neihem, L'man Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer Moshe Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham, Bezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Michei Kol Atah, Rav Nehushia, Mashiv HaRuach, U'Marid HaGashem, Mechalkel Chayim V'Chesed, Mechayei HaKol V'Rachamim Rabim, Zomich Noflim Rofei Chodim, U'Matir Asurim, U'Mekayim Emunato, Lishenei Afar, Micha Mocha Ba'al Gevurot, U'Midam Melech, Melech Memit U'Mechayeh, U'Matzmiach Yeshua, V'Ne'eman atah l'Hachayot HaKol, Baruch atah Adonai, Michayei HaKol. We are in the middle of page 326 as we continue with our prayer of holiness. Nekadesh et shimcha ba'olam, keshem shmakdishim oto b'shmei marom, kakatuv al yad nevi'echa, v'kra ze el ze ve'amar, kadosh, 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 Adonai Tzevaot, Melech haaretz, kivodo, Adir Adinenu Adonai, Adonenu Mahadir Shimcho b'chol haaretz, Baruch kivod Adonai mimkomo. Echad hu Eloheinu, hu Avinu, hu Malkeinu, hu Mosheinu v'hu Yashmeinu, rachamav le'nei kochai. Ani Adonai Elohim, yimloch Adonai
3:28. The people of Israel shall keep Shabbat, observing Shabbat throughout the ages as a covenant for all time. It is a sign for all time between me and the people of Israel. For in 6 days Adonai made heaven and earth, and on the seventh day God ceased from work and was refreshed.
We continue with rejoicing in our Sabbath on the top of 329. This prayer, Yismechu, if you want, in addition to singing, please clap along with the tambourine. Yavramamai, Shabbat, Shabbat. Yavramamai, Shabbat, Shabbat. Yavramamai, Shabbat, Shabbat. Shabbat, 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 Shabbat. Yismechu, Yismechu, v'malachutecha. Yismechu, Yismechu, v'malachutecha. Shomrei Shabbat, Shomrei Shabbat. V'korei oneg oneg Shabbat. Shomrei Shabbat, Shomrei Shabbat. V'korei oneg oneg Shabbat. Amikare sheshvi Shabbat, Shabbat. Amikare sheshvi Shabbat, Shabbat. Kulam yisbehu ve'yitagu mituvecha. Shabbat, Shabbat. Yavramamai, Shabbat, Shabbat. Yavramamai, Shabbat, Shabbat. Yavramamai, Shabbat, Shabbat. Shabbat, Shabbat. Shabbat, Shabbat. Yismechu, Yismechu, v'malachutecha. Yismechu, Yismechu, v'malachutecha. Shomrei Shabbat, Shomrei Shabbat. V'korei oneg oneg Shabbat. Shomrei Shabbat, Shomrei Shabbat. V'korei oneg oneg Shabbat. V'chashvi ratzida bo Shabbat, Shabbat. Ratzida bo v'kirashto Shabbat, Shabbat. Chemdat yamim oto karata. Zecher lemase bereshit Shabbat. Yavramamai, Shabbat, Shabbat. Yavramamai, Shabbat, Shabbat. Yavramamai, Shabbat, Shabbat. Shabbat, Shabbat. Shabbat, Shabbat.
So we're going to be on page 332. And do you want to call them or you want me to call them? I get to? Mom, Dad, come up and join us, please. And while they're doing that, please note at the end of each of the paragraphs on 332 and 333, you'll find the words in Hebrew, Modim Anach Nulach, which literally translate, we give thanks to you, God, for ostensibly all the stuff that's in the paragraph above. And Ari, don't forget, your job is to lead us through that.
Yep.
So you got to move over here so Mom and Dad can see this.
I got my glasses. Where do we start?
For the expanding grandeur of creation, worlds known and unknown, galaxies beyond galaxies, filling us with awe and challenging our imagination.
Modim anach nulach.
For this fragile planet Earth in times and tides, its sunsets and seasons.
Modim anach nulach.
For the joy of human life, its wonders and surprises, its hopes and achievements.
Modim anach nulach.
For human community, our can't
Common.
read it. Our common past and future hope, our oneness transcending all separation, our capacity to work for peace and justice in the midst of hostility and oppression.
Modim anach nulach.
For high hopes and noble causes, for faith without fanaticism, for understanding of views not shared.
Modim anach nulach.
For all who have labored and suffered for a fairer world, who have lived so that others might live in dignity and freedom.
Modim anach nulach.
For human liberties and sacred rights, for opportunities to change and grow, to affirm and choose.
Modim anach nulach.
We pray that we may live not by our fears, but by our hopes, not by our words, but by our deeds.
Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha u'cha na'eh odot. So hug your son, hug your parents, and we're going to continue on the next page praying for peace.
Page 334, Sim Shalom. Sim Shalom, Tova Uvracha, Chen V'Chesed V'Rachamim V'Rachamim Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Yisrael, Ve'al Kol Yisrael, Amecha, Barheinu Yotzreinu Kulanu Kechad, Ve'or Panecha, Givor Panecha Natata Lanu, Adonai Eloheinu. Together, Sim Shalom, Tova Uvracha, Chen V'Chesed V'Rachamim V'Rachamim Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Yisrael, Ve'al Kol Yisrael, Amecha, Torah Chayim, Ve'ahava Chesed, Ve'ahavat Esed, U'tzedaka Uvracha Ve'rachamim, Ve'chayim, Ve'shalom. Sim Shalom, Tova Uvracha, Hein V'Chesed V'Rachamim V'Rachamim Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Yisrael, Ve'al Kol Yisrael, Amecha, Ve'tov, Ve'tov, Ve'inecha, Ve'varech Timcha Yisrael, Ve'cholit, V'chosha, Together, Sim Shalom, Tova Uvracha, Chen V'Chesed V'Rachamim V'Rachamim Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Yisrael, Ve'al Kol Yisrael, Amecha.
We're on page 336.
We sit in community, elbow to elbow, eye to eye, so close, perhaps we brush against each other. As we move in prayer, ears filled with the voices of friends, teachers, fellow travelers who pray with us from the next seat. From across the room, we come to silence. Rhythm of words, shared melody, hushed. Connected first one to all, we now let go. To be alone with the Holy One. To speak in mind and heart and soul, but not with lips. The prayers we weave together cannot replace that private conversation. God, our partner, awaits us, one by one, a miracle.
So all of the prayers that we said thus far are first person plural, we. Because it's a community, not just here, but on behalf of really the whole world. We pray for health, for peace, for strength, but there comes this point in the service when it's just one-on-one. And so we're going to take a few moments privately. And the stuff either with which you're struggling, or the places that you need more energy to do the good work, the places you need help or guidance, this is that time for personal reflection.
We are on page 337 as we continue with another song for peace. Oh, say shalom miramav, say shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. Say shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael. Say shalom,
going to move into the Torah service. We're going to be taking the Torah from the Ark, and you're going to be reading words that are thousands of years old, right? Yeah. And then you're going to read other words that are thousands of years old from the Haftara. And then you're going to tell us why those words that are thousands of years old matter today when you teach us a little bit. You ready for all that? You stoic young man. Does anybody know what Ari's favorite joke is?
No, what's Ari's favorite joke?
I don't know. Is there one? Yeah. I'm going to figure it out.
I think the joke's on us, Rabbi. He tells tremendous jokes all the time. They're about us, I think.
I'm sure they Would you want to ask them to stand, please?
Please rise.
Okay, I need your brother, your sister, and your mom and dad to come
Ein kamocha va'Elohim Adonai ve'ein kema'asecha malchutecha malchut kol olamim u'memshaltecha bechol dor v'dor Adonai melech Adonai malach Adonai imloch le'olam va'ed Adonai oz le'amo yitein Adonai yivarech et amo v'shalom El harachamim eitiv ha'virtzoncha et Zion Tini chomot Yerushalayim Tiveka levad batachnu Melech Eram v'nisa Adon olamim
You hope. Last, but never least. Even the night you were born, you brought the humor by making your way into the world during the Super Bowl. The one day Dad asked me to hold off, like you would pass up that opportunity. You were greeted with such excitement. Jake immediately wanted to hold you and insisted you had matching pajamas. And Brooke took a flying leap from the door onto the hospital bed, almost landing on you, insisting you have matching nail polish. You always accommodated both of them. You are able to bring the humor to so many situations. So, although it didn't surprise me that you recently received the Charter Champion Humor Award, it did make me feel my job here is now done. Humor is mostly the way we communicate and lighten up ordinary days or stressful situations. Speaking of, there have been some memorable moments that have really made us laugh. Like a few years ago, when you asked me for a pair of scissors and I said, check your pencil case. And you answered without hesitation, they are not in there. Miss Dayton usually has to take them away. Total honesty, no shame. Then there was the time we received an email that you were putting Kick Me Post-its on your classmates' bags. But our favorite was when you were asked to leave the classroom to take a few minutes to compose yourself, and you re-entered the room singing, I Came In Like a Wrecking Ball. It was impossible for Dad and I to attend conferences with a straight face. And your honesty brings a whole other element of humor. You know getting the laugh is worth whatever consequences there may be. I know Grandpa is looking down today and feeling extremely proud that he passed this quality down to you. I'm sure that if a parent were to ever ask their child if Ari was in school on any particular day, nobody would ever be unsure. What is amazing about you is you manage to pull off straight A's while simultaneously being class clown. You push yourself to really understand concepts and beat yourself up when you get a 99 when you see the silly mistake you made. Luckily, your teachers see the hard work you do and maybe cut you some slack in the clowning around business, probably because you secretly crack them up too. By the way, I had no idea that your teachers were coming today when I wrote this speech, so I'll just cut it here and hope for the best for a smooth year. On any given day, I feel so proud of you. but on this particular day, I am beaming with pride. Ari requested that I don't cry, so I'll do my best as I continue. I know you don't love being the center of attention, but you deserve the spotlight because there are so many things to celebrate about you. First and foremost, your love of all animals. You see the beauty and importance of each and every furry critter and even a hairless cat. You even follow me to make sure I haven't killed an insect when removing it from the house. But your love and affection for Tiger, Chloe, and Figgy is so touching. You have the hugest heart. I remember when you and Nick were in competition for who liked cats the most. I also enjoy your random educational animal facts. Although always holding my breath in hopes you don't get injured, I do love to watch you on the field, court, or slopes, as you do everything with such natural skill. You are the first to talk about how good this one or that one played and find it very difficult to accept praise. You are extremely critical of yourself, which keeps you humble, which is a good thing. I just hope you know how others see you. Your love for your family is also another attribute that I find so endearing. You count down the days until you either see your grandparents, cousins, or your aunts and uncles. When the day is over, you say things like, I wish we could do this day all over again. But the days continue to pass, and now here you are a teenager. And although I want to keep you from getting older or any bigger, I also can't wait to see what comes next because you keep it so interesting. You're a star, and you shine so bright. My heart is so full, and it's not possible to love you more. I made it.
I'm not really sure how to follow that.
She wasn't, you are.
Well, no. So given that you're number 3, we've been through this twice before, you would have thought that I would have coordinated with your mother so that we understood what each other was going to say, because she just said everything I was planning. So at this point, I really don't have anything else to add to that because there isn't much more that can be added, other than the fact that I think as we've seen so far today, you're always prepared. You're a perfectionist. You want to do everything perfectly. And so far, that's what's happened. And despite all of the apprehension you have, all of the self-doubts, you can see that when it comes down to it, you get the work done and you do it well. And I think that your work ethic will always carry you through to be able to do those kinds of things no matter what it is, whether it's sports, whether it's academics, whether it's gaming. It'll always work out because you care and you want to be the best at everything. So keep doing it the way you're doing it, and I think that you'll get everything that you want in life. Come here. Hug it out.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adoninu, Kadosh Shemo, Lecha Adonai Hagedura, Hagevura, Atiferet, V'hanitzach v'hahor, Ki hol b'shamayim u'va'aretz, Ki hol b'shamayim u'va'aretz, Lecha Adonai,
Please be seated.
Amalachna, Ani Asi, Lechol Rosh.
I had to call you stoic to get you to laugh. Did you ever prepare, she said? Your friends laugh at you. No one else I know walks into a class singing like that, okay? Dude, celebrate being up here, okay? Good. With that, we are reading from the end of the book of Exodus, and we are going to be calling up people to be honored. You're going to be in charge of all of that, right?
I'm going to do my best.
Okay. And so I think, there's a red commentary, a red book in front of you, or if you're sitting in the front row underneath you. And you can follow along with the Torah reading Begin on page 681, chapter 38 of the book of Exodus, verses 21 and following. In the plowed commentary, there's Hebrew at the top, there's commentary at the bottom, and the English is in the middle. Okay? But of course, all of you are Hebrew scholars and won't need that because Cantor taught you Hebrew at the beginning of the service.
No, they're ready to start teaching us.
Okay.
Okay. So for our first honor, we call up your grandparents, Bubby, Zadie, and Baba. Yeah. Okay. Nope, I got it. Hit it. Well, don't hit it.
Baruch Hu es Adonai HaBarach. Baruch Adonai HaBarach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam Asher Bocha Bonu Mikol Ha'amim V'natan Lanu et Torato Baruch Ata Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen. All right, make way for the reader.
Yes.
Go.
Eile Fikudei HaMishkan, Mishkan HaEdu, Asher Pukat Al Pi Moshe, Avodat HaVim, Biyad Itamar, Ben Aharon HaKohen, Utzal'el, Ben Uri, Ben Hur, Lamate Yehudat, Asa, Kol Asher Tziva, Adonai et Moshe, Vito, O Holy Av, Ben Ahisama, Lamate Dan, Harash v'choshev, Birokim, Bat Hila uvar Gaman, V'tola'at Hashani, Uvashesh.
Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam Asher Natan Lanu Tarat Emes V'chayei Olam Nota B'Sochenu Baruch Ata Adonai Nosein HaTorah.
Amen.
For our second aliyah, we call up your aunts and uncles, Robin, Lydia, Seth, and Ross.
Baruch Adonai Baruch Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai HaBarach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam Asher Baruch Banu Mikol Ha'amim V'natan Lanu et Torato Baruch Ata Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen.
Kol hazahav ha'asui lamlachai v'chol meleket hakodesh v'yehi zahav hatnufa teisha esrim kikar ushva me'ot ushlishim shekel v'shekel hakodesh v'ke'esef פקודי העדה מאת כיכר, ב1,750 שקל בשקל הקודש, בקע לגולגלים מחיצת השקל בשקל הקודש, לקהל העובר על הפקודים מבין 20 שנה ומעלה ל600,000 ו3,550.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam nota b'tocheinu Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
You can have a seat. Thank you, everyone. So glad you're here. Okay, for our third aliyah, we call up your cousins, Izzy, Nina, Mia, Samuel, and Eli. Yay, the cousins. The cousins. Okay, everybody can see. Bless it. All right. Can you get light on it? Okay. Everybody. Nice and loud.
Baruch Adonai Ambarach Leolam Va'ed. Adonai Ambarach Leolam Va'ed.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu el Torto. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
It's somewhere in here, I think.
Is it
Right?
ויהי מאת כיכר הכסף לצקת את אדני הקודש ואת אדני הפרוקת מאת הדנים למט הכיכר, כיכר לאדם, ואת 1,750 עושה ווים לעמודים, וציפה ראשיהם והושק אותם, ונחושת הנפוד 70, כיכר ב2,400 שקל.
Everybody come in.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam nota b'tocheinu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah. Amen.
Great job, you guys. Have a seat. Okay, and now we call up Brooke and Jake, your brother and sister. Okay, this is a great moment. Here, you guys, take your talit, each one of you. Okay, touch it here. Actually, here, right here. Okay, I'll get you started. Come on. Baruch.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach.
Baruch Adonai Ambarach Leolam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach Leolam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Okay. Vayasba. Here it is. Now,
Where is it? ויעש בה את אדני פתח אוהל מועד, ויהי מצד הנחושת ואת מדבר הנחושת asher lo, ve'et kol kalei hamitzvah, ve'et adnei ha'atzer saviv, ve'et adnei shara ha'atzer ve'et kol yedot hamishkan ve'et kol yedot ha'atzer saviv, umin ha'hele uvargaman, v'tala'at hashani, osa bigdei sharad, l'sharit v'kodesh, v'yasu et bigdei hakodesh, asher laharon, ka'asher tziva Adonai et Moshe.
Baruch.
Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam nata b'tocheinu Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
For your fifth aliyah, we call up your parents, Ellen and Adam. You think?
I already messed up.
Great start. Sorry. That's good. That's good. 1, 2, 3. Baruch.
Hu et Adonai Hamborach.
Baruch Adonai Baruch Leolam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamborach Leolam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bacharanu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Do we have to have a fourth child? Okay. I think we need a fourth child. Here we go. All right, here we go. Beheshev.
Oh,
Okay.
no, it's Vayas et Adnei. Yeah.
Yep. Vayas.
Vayas et ha'epod zahav techele ve'argaman v'tala'at shani v'shesh mazar baraku et pache hazahav v'kitzei v'tilim la'asot v'toch ha'hele uvtoch ha'argaman uvtoch ha'alat ha'shnei uvtoch ha'shesh ma'aseh choshev Kitefo asulo hovrot ashnei kisvotav hu bar.
Okay.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam nata b'tocheinu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
You stay right here. And Ari, now we call you to the Torah as a bar mitzvah.
Yamod, Yamod, Yamod habar mitzvah. Chaim Yosef ben Elior ve'Ephraim habar mitzvah chazak.
We're going to touch it around here. It's all good.
Orhu et Adonai Hamvorah.
Baruch Adonai Baruch Ilam Ba'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorah le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Okay, now it's Vayeshev. Okay, so it's around here. Beheshev.
Yeah. Is-
I think so.
No.
Nope. Beheshev. I'm tired.
Don't go for coffee yet.
I don't know. We started here, right? Here, right here? This was number 5?
Yeah.
Nope, this is not number 5. This is number 5.
Okay.
Okay.
It's over here.
Thank you, Adam. Okay. So it's going to be in here. We were here. Here. We're just going to be here. Here you go. I think. Nope. Nope, we're near it. Okay. Here you go.
Okay. V'hishev afudato asher alav mimenu hu kama asehu zahav tehelev v'argaman v'tla at shani v'shesh marzar ka asher ziva Adonai et Moshe vayasu et avnei hasham misabot mishbetzet zahav mepetahat pituhei hotam al shemot b'nei Yisrael vayasam otam al ketifo ha'epod avnei zikaron livnei Yisrael ka'asher ziva Adonai et Moshe.
Great job. Now take your talit again. Touch that spot so we never forget where it is. Okay. Baruch atah.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam nata b'tohenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Please rise, everyone.
Vezot haTorah asher sam Moshe lifnei bnei Yisrael al pi Adonai v'yad Moshe. Vezot haTorah, vezot haTorah asher sam Moshe lifnei bnei Yisrael al pi Adonai v'yad Moshe. Lai 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 lai. Lai 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 lai.
We're here celebrating this morning and celebrating the past that has led us to this day, and the future. But we all know that there are parts of the world that are doing anything but celebrating right now, that they're scraping to stay alive. And there are parts of the world that are doing everything they can to oppress others, to keep them from celebrating life. We've got a lot of work to do if we're going to take the Torah that is sacred to us and its teachings of health and well-being and peace and spreading it to the world. We know that God can't do what we won't do. And so as we take into mind those that are suffering from their own oppression, the victimhood that they're occasioning upon other people, we think about those who are suffering from illnesses and injuries, those who are struggling. They've been shut in too long or they're away from family. All of the people who aren't able to celebrate life to its fullest. And we include in that list people who are close to home and to our family. Rabbi Robert Orrock, James Appio, Vicki Bernstein, Glenn Cohen, Nancy Baskin, Steve Goldsmith, Doreen Lapperton Addison, Martha Brandwing, Walter McWilliams, Martin Gale, Claire Heidema, Lee Grunsfelder, Norma Cohn, Jay Goldberg, and Miriam Solons. And if there's other people that we're holding in prayer, please share their names so that we can give each other the strength to make a difference in life.
Sandra Jessup.
Baruch atah Adonai Rofei HaCholim. We ask God to make us instruments of healing.
Our prayer for healing can be found in the Blue Prayer Book on page 371.
So what comes next is the piece we call the Haftara. It's not half a Torah. It's a whole different root word in the Hebrew. It means the opening. And so this is a piece taken from the books of the prophets that somehow offer commentary on the Torah portion that you read. This week's Haftara is from the first book of Kings. Trivia question. Why are there two books of the King, 1 Kings and 2 Kings? Anybody? 1 Samuel, 2 Samuel. Any clues? Because there were too much text to put on one scroll. Quite literally, that's the answer. They had to have a second scroll to take all the text. So now, and that's the final Jeopardy question, I expect a hefty donation. Okay? So, we're reading from 1 Kings chapter 8, somewhere in the middle of it. You can find that back in that red book. Sorry to keep doing this to you. Page 728 and following.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bahar b'nviim tovim v'ratzah b'divreihem hane'emarim be'emet Baruch atah Adonai habocher b'torah u'Moshe avdo u'Yisrael amo u'vinviei ha'emet b'tzedek. Vayehi b'tzeit hakohanim min hakodesh v'he'anan malay et be'Adonai v'lo yachlu hakohanim la'amod v'sharet mipnei he'anan ki malay kivod Adonai et be'Adonai az amar Shlomo Adonai amar lishon ba'arafel Bano vaniti beit zahal lach mahon v'shiv teha olamim v'yasef ha-melech et fanav v'yaverech et kol kahal Yisrael v'kol kahal Yisrael omed v'yomer Baruch Adonai Eloheinu Yisrael Asher diber b'piv et David avi uvyado milei lemor min hayom asher hotzeti et ami et Yisrael mimitzrayim lo vaharti va'ir miho shivtei Yisrael livnot Bayit Lachiot Shemisham Ba'evhar Badavid Lihiot Al Ami Yisrael Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Ha'olam Zorko Ha'olamim Tzadik B'chol Hadorot Ha'el Haneman Ha'omer Ve'oseh Hamdaber unkayim shekal daber emet vatzedek al haTorah ve'ol ha'ahodah ve'ol hanviim ve'al yom hashba hazech shenatatan lanu Adonai Eloheinu likdusha v'limnu chai likavod Ultifare al hakol Adonai Eloheinu ana numodim la varhim ota yitbarach shimcha b'fi kolcha tamid la olam va'ed Baruch atah Adonai mikadesh haShabbat.
Amen.
Need you guys again. Okay. But you're going to switch roles.
Etz chaimi lama chazikima v'tov b'cheva me'ushar derachecha
Please be seated. Oh, you are seated. Okay. Now, you have to teach some stuff. You ready?
Yep.
Loud and slow. You want them to hang on every word. Okay.
The Torah portion I read speaks about the building of the tabernacle, which is a meeting place for worship. Because the people were traveling across the desert, it was a light, movable construction. Moses called on the community to donate items to build the tabernacle. Items from gold, silver, copper, and gems to shekels, yarn and animal whiskers. Each and every item was important to the construction of the tabernacle. Nobody was made to feel ashamed of what they could donate. It is important to remember that everyone has something to offer of equal value. The monetary value of items is irrelevant. When a community comes together for a common cause, we can support one another by leveling the playing field, honoring everyone's contribution, whether it is a precious gem or a spool of yarn. As community members, when we see others that have needs that we can fulfill, it should be an easy fix. When we are blessed with privileges, we should want them for everyone. The tabernacle did not belong more to ones that donated more expensive items. It was an equal shared space that felt safe. When I thought about this community and compared it to my own community, I felt inspired. I know it may seem out of the ordinary for a 13-year-old to be concerned about the imbalance of the distribution of abundance in the world. When I hear about the lack of food, clothing, shelter, and simple household items people are in need of, I knew I wanted to make this my mitzvah project. This topic feels close to home because not only is this an issue around the world, it also happens right in my own community. I wanted to help create a way to help local families without having to summon the community to build a tabernacle. So I asked my parents if I could run the adoptive family project in my town. They were very pleased that I took notice in this project and that I wanted to head this project up. I wound up heading the adoptive family program, and when I saw the success, it felt so good. I wound up collecting for 2 additional local food drives, and each one was very successful. This made me feel very good and also made me wonder why this is not more common. There are so many reasons people may not have enough of what they need. Perhaps a loss of a job, or maybe someone was not raised with enough support and tools to understand how to support themselves or a family. Some people never have the opportunity to learn how to support themselves and their family and wind up being needy. Donating food, clothing, and household items will obviously help. But this is a temporary fix. Other things that we all can do as a community is help teach a class at a food pantry about gardening, and then people in need can grow their own food and keep enough to eat and possibly even be able to sell some. Or we can teach a sewing class and teach others to make and sell clothing. Once they get a start, they will be able to possibly earn a living and even be able to help others in need as well as themselves. If this pattern became a cycle, then the world would eventually become a place where everybody has enough food, clothing, and shelter to sustain themselves. I hope you feel inspired by my actions and my speech, and you will get involved in your community with charitable events. Although I was able to accomplish these mitzvahs, I was also inspired by Rabbi Klein, who would help me understand what this Torah portion is about by breaking it down for me when I was feeling confused, and he would ask me questions like, how does that make you feel, and what are you going to do about it? I can't thank Rabbi Klein and Cantor Kusol enough for the hours and hours of work we have done together to get to this day. We are finally here, and because of both of you, I feel confident and excited to share this day with the congregation and all my friends and family.
So thank you, family, too.
Thank you, family.
So, last night I said that it's important to come see these services where our youth are leading them, because they start off at 10 o'clock being little boys and girls. And by sometime around 11:30, they're young adults, taking ownership of who they are and what they're doing. And if you've noticed, as the days progressed, his voice became more sure. And at the point where this is Ari speaking from his heart, He was loud and he was clear, and there's no mistaking that this is your message, this is who you are and what you do. I am concerned that it took me calling you stoic to get you to smile, though, when everybody here knows. Okay, in fact, I think your brother once told me that, he's not like this at home. Okay? So I think that there's a balance. I mean, I think we need you to be a little bit louder all the time, and they need you to temper that at home. Is that fair? I did not get paid for that statement, but I used to live around the corner from this family. By the way, I'm sure you all know this, I would assume. Every year, the city of Red Bank has a contest for who decorates their house best for the holidays. And they're politically savvy enough not to call it for Christmas, especially since a Jewish family wins it every year. Okay? But I've watched you guys grow up, both here and then around the community, and I got to tell you something, that there's a balance that I do need you to strike, because still waters run deep. And in my office, when we're talking, you are calm, you are thoughtful, and you're a little reserved, and then you'll speak and say something. And it's always on point, and I always get to say to you, cool, that's why I asked you the questions, because I know that you will have an answer for them. And while you are loud out there, you figured out there's a time and place, and I think your mom said it best, that your teachers know what you can offer, and so they put up with what you give. Is that a fair statement,
Yes,
Never lose that fun side of you. And at the same time, always remember that as a leader, because this is the quality of someone who can attract attention and then hold it in the right way, people will be listening to what you say. And they'll want to know what you're doing in this world, because so many of us walk through this world just not sure of who we are or where we are. And when you see someone who's very at home in his skin, in whatever setting he's in, that's something worth emulating and wanting to take in. So Ari, you're 13. Today you're a young man on the pulpit. Tomorrow you'll go back to being a 7th grader. Okay? Right? But keep being the young man growing as you are. We're very proud of you. And I'm going to say something to you that I said to your brother and I said to your sister, and they looked at me like I had 6 heads. You're going to look at me the same way, but I want you to consider it. Bar mitzvah, bat mitzvah is only the beginning of your adult Jewish life. And our tradition talks about confirmation, 10th grade, and now last 2 classes of confirmands wanted to continue on through graduation from high school. I'd like you to think about that, because the conversations that we have at that level, where you're starting to look at career, college, and all of that stuff, is very different than this is the holiday, and this is an olive, and this is a bet. And I'd love to have your engagement and your teaching in that moment with peers. So file that somewhere back there. I think I can say on behalf of Cantor and myself, and she'll tell you as well, we're really proud of the young man you're becoming. So with your permission, I'm going to ask, actually, Cantor and I want to take you to the Ark to ask God's blessings. I'm going to let you ask everyone to stand up.
Please rise.
Oh, under the oath.
יברכך אדוני וישמרך.
May God bless you and keep you.
יאיר אדוני פניו אליך ויחונך.
May God's light shine for you, and may you know God's grace.
יישא אדוני פניו אליך וישם לך shalom, shalom.
May Torah always lighten your eyes. May the warmth that you bring to who you are and how you walk through this world infect others to be able to walk through it secure and safe in who they are. And may you be and may you know the blessing of peace this world desperately needs. Amen and amen.
Amen, amen.
You want to tell me something?
Please be seated. Ari, you've done such a beautiful job, always. And Ari is one of the students who's had to work with me at least 50% virtually, because we began our studies deeply in the way we were handling the pandemic by not being in person. And Ari met with me in every week online. And, I got to know your bedroom and, your poster and. It was a nice room, and also you had something either with skiing or like water, something like looked like paddles in your room, and always looked forward to it. And but before we had the opportunity to study in person, I had Ari in class, in music class, and for me, when I had Ari, what I noticed was this: whenever there was a little commotion, which is normal, I would look over there and other children would be talking and Ari was right in the middle of it, but he wasn't. He was like right under the radar. So I think you like said the funny thing and then were quiet and everyone else was still laughing or something like that. I always thought that, that's brilliant. He's like right under the radar. And you have been very devoted, very on top of things, wanting to do a perfect job. Normally, in the course of study, because we study for a year, one has to give a motivational lectures to children about asking them to study and things like that. I have to say, it's highly unusual, but you never, ever, ever needed any kind of incentivizing or motivation to do your work. I think that's an unbelievably unusual quality in a person your age, and I think that will enable you to do literally whatever you want to do in life, because no matter how difficult the task is in front of you, because of the methodical and devoted way you work on things, you will be outstanding. And so not only have you been gifted as you are a very smart young man and a very good person, but you have an unbelievable work ethic. And that's just something that's going to serve you so well in your life. And you're funny, and you're also, but when you have something to say, it's worth hearing. And that's unusual also, because most people talk a lot, but it isn't always worth hearing. So these are always going to be qualities I believe you will have. And I'm grateful to your family for being part of our temple family. And there's always interesting coincidences that happen. And 3 weeks ago, was it? We came into the sanctuary to read from the Torah for the first time. And the last bat mitzvah we were able to celebrate in person in our sanctuary was your sister Brooke. And that was right before we had to shut down for the pandemic. And for Brooke's bat mitzvah, your mom had gotten all those kippot printed with her name on it. This was a kippah from your bat mitzvah, Brooke. And I had over the summer cleaned out almost all of the kippot, because after a while we get really hundreds of them, and we donate them to a day school. And I had, not for any reason whatsoever, I must have saved those, and we left them in the box. But we don't take them out all the time or anything. And right when we came in, your mom and I were looking over there and turned upside down. And I think it's interesting, was the kippah from your sister's bat mitzvah, right before we began. I don't know why these things happen, but they make life very interesting.
So Ari, you are a blessing, and you're always going to be a blessing, and you're becoming even more of a blessing. So I've chosen a song for you called L'chilach, which just really talks about all of those things. The blessing you are, the blessing that you're going to be, and the way we want you to celebrate your future.
L'chilach, to a land that I will show you. Lech lecha, to a place you do not know. L'chilach, on your journey I will bless you, and you shall be a blessing. You shall be a blessing. You shall be a blessing. L'chilach. L'chilach, and I shall make your name great. Lech lecha, and all shall praise your name. L'chilach, to the place that I will show you. L'simchat chayim, l'simchat chayim, l'simchat chayim, l'chilach. You shall be a blessing. You shall be a blessing. You shall be a blessing. L'chilach.
Actually, they were Brooks Keep Hope, but I think Jake's was the one that was upside down. And so it was both of them. That was the real miracle.
Both?
Yeah. Crazy.
Did I miss that part of it?
So. Yeah.
Who can explain that?
I just know that, your parents deserve a lot of credit because these kids are as they are, these young adults that were before us, because they learned from y'all. So thank you for that gift. That now has blessed us several times and will continue.
Both.
So are you ready to get near the end of this? Okay, you are? So we're going to continue with, Elena, we're going to be on page 586, and we're going to ask everyone to rise, please.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, l'tekedu l'yotzer b'reishi, shehu l'teshamayim v'yotzer haaretz, u'moshav yikaro b'shamayim mimahal, u'shchinat uzo b'govhei meromim, u'Eloheinu einod, v'anachnu korim, u'mishtachavim u'modim, lifnei melech Machei hamlachim hakadosh baruch v'ne'emar v'haya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz v'yom hahu yeh Adonai echad u'shemo echad.
592.
When I die, give what's left of me away to children and old men that wait to die. And if you need to cry, cry for your brother walking the street beside you. And when you need me, put your arms around anyone and give them what you need to give me. I want to leave you something better than words or sounds. Look for me in the people I've known or loved. And if you cannot give me away, at least let me live in your eyes and not in your mind. You can love me best by letting hands touch hands, and by letting go of children and that need to be free. Love doesn't die, people do. So when all that's left of me is love, give me away.
This part of the service, as we're near conclusion, we remember those who have passed from their earthly course this week and years have gone by. And we remember that people are taken from our hands but never our hearts. And as long as we continue to tell their stories or live by the legacies, the lessons they've given us, that they stay right there next to us. So this week we recall William B. Aaron, Leo Ashkenaz, Lois Blonder, Max Leo Brown, Sylvia Carter, Samuel Deutsch, Rose Field, Joe Friend Jr., Donald S. Golden, Donald J. Hallard, Elliot Hassan, Ida Huber, Jean Jochnowitz, Nathan Jupiter, David Kaplan, Tina Carl, Hyman Carlman, Murray Kipnis, Gaetano Lombombarda, Reba Levin, Rose Levinsky, Hannah Lowenstein, Sadie Metz, Samuel Milchman, Lawrence Parkinson, Sam Peltz, Ruth Reckedahl, Beatrice Ruby, Sylvia Sachs, Bessie Schwartz, Francis F. Singman, and Henry Weiser. Are there other annual yortzites being observed this week? In Shloshim, the first 30 days of saying goodbye to the earthly courses of Geraldine Golden and Irma Meyer. And just this week, a couple days ago, someone who touched the lives of many, many generations of our students, 52 years of teaching in religious school. Betsy Millman passed away. Always love, never loved. Past tense. So with that, we conclude with the words of memorial. Kaddish is on page 598. Yitgadal, Yitgadash, Shmei Rabbah. Yalmad Yivrach Yerutei V'yamlich Malchutei. V'chai Yachon V'yom Echon. Uvchayei D'chol Beit Yisrael. B'agala V'zman Kariv V'imru Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah Mevorach Le'olam U'lamei Almaya. Yitbarach V'yishtabach V'yitpa'ar V'tomam V'yitnaseh. V'yitadar V'yitalei V'yitalal Shemei D'Kudsha Brichu. Le'elam in kol birchata v'shirata. Tishbechata v'nechemata. Ta'amiran be'alma v'yimru Amen. Yehei Shlomo Rabba min Shemaya. V'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'yimru Amen. Osei shalom b'mromav. Hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'yimru Amen.
Osei shalom b'mromav. Hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'yimru Amen.
Please be seated. You all had Betsy Millman, kindergarten, first grade.
Yeah.
She also did some bar mitzvah tutoring in here, and like I said, it's never a past tense love. It's I love Betsy, not I loved. You know, that's a gift that'll keep giving for many generations. So with that, we've got some people who want to give you some gifts to go forward. These are not parting gifts to our latest contestant, right? This is the beginning of your Judaica collection and your library, and we hope that you will use them. And remember that this day and the many people who are here loving you and holding you, celebrating you. You good? So first I'm going to ask on behalf of our sisterhood, Karen Levinsky, to come on up.
Shabbat Shalom. Ari, you and I have never met before, but I want you to know that it is my honor and my privilege to represent the MRT Sisterhood, to witness what you did today. much about people who are less fortunate than you are. And I hope that that's something that you carry with you for the rest of your life. I wanted to get to know you a little bit better, so earlier in the week, I called your mom, and we had a conversation, and she told me, number one, what a great student you were, how you had a wonderful sense of humor, and some of the sports that you enjoy, soccer, baseball, basketball, and you're a skier also. So you're a very well-rounded person, and I think what you've done today is just wonderful. Now, a bar mitzvah is the start of your Jewish adulthood, and you will be hopefully participating in holidays and occasions in the future. And Sisterhood wants to give you, for those things, candlesticks and a Kiddush cup. We hope that you use it well in the future and that you think of us when you do use it. And I want to wish your whole family a mazel tov. You did a fabulous job today. And remember this time. You will treasure it, I'm sure.
Thank you, Karen.
You're welcome.
And Karen Levinsky knows because, first of all, she's been a leader in this community for a couple generations. I'll just leave it at that. And David, her husband, was the religious school principal for years, so she's seen lots of them, so it's high praise, okay? As I'm asking our Men's Club President, Dave Mackow, to come up to give you a gift, I'd like to ask who's passing the candy out? Sibs? Okay, so you're about to get some candy. Don't eat it yet, okay? Don't make it gummy in your hand either, okay? I will give you instructions on what to do with it in just a little bit, and then I will give you instructions further on how to reclaim said candy appropriately, okay? All right?
Ari,
Use the microphone.
on behalf of the Men's Club, we have a little gift for you here, the Torah commentary. Okay, contain this, it gives you, breaks down what's in there. Might be hard to understand, this will help you out. So here you go on that. First of all, I want to say that I do have an advantage over you. When I put on a prayer shawl, I don't have to lift up my hair. So, but I see all the activities you're in, and that's phenomenal, all those sports. I don't do, the only one I still do now is skiing. I just got back from Killington. Have you ever been there? In Vermont? It's fantastic. Mount Snow, okay, that's great too. Conditions are still great, so if you get up there. And also the being a little bit of a goofball and the humor kind of thing, retain that. It definitely helps. Now you're gonna you have boundaries, but you're gonna learn. But always retain that bit, a little bit being that, you know, just keep things light and humorous and so forth. That's a great quality to have. I can see it, I've seen it through the years that I've been around, that it really does help. And it's, you know, some levity to the situation. And anyway, so I wish you all the best. And to keep going and keep doing what you're doing, the great work you're doing. And don't cut your hair. My father always made me go, and he made me go every 3 months. I had to go. If I would have known, I would have maybe fought him a little bit more, because at 19 this baby went. So, but I think you're probably going to stay around. It's going to stay around for a little longer. So great job.
Thanks,
Once
David.
again, thank you.
All right, on behalf of the congregation, we have a certificate here that reminds you of this day. It's got our autographs on it, which someday may be worth something, or not, okay?
I think so.
But
I wouldn't bet on that.
when you look at it in years to come, I hope you remember a lot of love and support. One final thought while candy is still going around. When I was young and I was an athlete and all that, I didn't think about something. And you, your brother, I think, is trying to figure this one out. Okay, you're not bulletproof, right? So protect yourself. Because when you get old, at the age of 60, your best friend becomes Arthur. Arthritis. Okay? The most intimate relationship I have is with my best friend Arthur. So take care of yourself as you get old.
Very
Okay?
depressing. Between the loss of hair and the bone pain.
So, the candy. We have a tradition that you want to offer a gift of sweetness symbolically to our celebrant. Notice I said to and not at. Okay? There are no pro scouts clocking any throws. Sorry, dude, okay? So you will, one, offer your gift of sweetness to him in his direction. If you're not sure about your strength, please move up because you're not offering it to the backs of the heads of the people in front of you. Okay? And then, afterwards, I'm going to ask everybody who considers themselves to be young, Zadie, okay, to come and collect said candy. But don't eat it because we haven't said a blessing over it, and I also don't want wrappers all over the sanctuary. Fair enough? So you're going to go out in the middle. Cantor's already hiding. No, you want that for your face, just in case. Okay? Face that way. All right? And when I say mazel tov and I am far enough out of the line of throw, you should loft thy gifts in his direction. Mazel tov. Mazel tov. Okay, no more throwing. Come get it. Come collect it.
1, 2, 3,
Guys, remember you're still in the sanctuary.
Time to hear.
Everyone back to the seats. We'll get the rest later.
I don't think I even know.
Okay. So,
I don't think I know.
Cantor.
Yes, okay.
So this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna do Mozy and the blessing over the wine. So Zay's coming up to do Mozy, I think. Okay. Oh, that's so nice. He's sharing. I know where you get this. Okay. Zadie, I need you up here though. Okay. And then after that, we're gonna have a closing song, right?
And then proceed through the doors and enjoy a beautiful kiddush provided by the Cohen family.
So, Ari, you're going to do this part. Right? It's grape juice, so you're cool, right?
Borei. Amen.
Yes, you can drink. I said that last night. He just. So.
If we leave it out long enough, it turns into wine.
Okay, all grandkids.
Amen.
It translates, thank you, God, for bringing forth great bread from the earth. Amen. Go ahead.
And our closing song is Adon Olam. I sing a line, you repeat it after.
Adon Olam, Asher Malach, B'terem Kol, Yitzir Nivra, Li'ed Nasah, B'chef Kol.
Then together.
Azai Melech Shemo Nikra Adon Olam, V'acharei Kichlot HaKol, Levado Yimlok Nora Adon Olam, V'hu Haya, V'hu Hove, V'hu Yeh B'tifara Adon Olam, Asher Malach, B'terem Kol, Yitzir Nivra, li'et nasa, b'chef sokol. Azai melech shemo nikra Adon Olam, v'hu echad v'ein sheni, l'ham shelo l'hach bira Adon Olam, v'li reshit, v'li tachlit, v'lo ha'oz v'lo mizra Adon Olam. Now I sing it, you guys repeat it, okay? We're gonna have some help up here. Adon Olam, Asher Malach, B'terem Kol, Yitzir Nivras, Li'et Nasa, B'chef Sokol. Together. Azai Melech Shemo Nikra Adon Olam, V'hu Eli, V'chai Goli, V'tzor Chevli V'yetzara Adon Olam, V'hu Nisi, Umanosli, Minat Kusi V'yom Nikra Adon Olam. Here you go. Adon Olam, Asher Malach, B'terem Kol, Yitzir Nivras, Li'et Nasa, B'chef Sokol. Together. Azai Melech Shemo Nikra Adon Olam, V'ya Adon of Kidruchi, V'yet Ishan V'ya'ira Adon Olam, V'yimruchi, Gevi'ati, Adonai li v'lo ira Adon Olam. I want to hear some power from everyone. Adon Olam, Asher Malach, B'terem Kol, Yitzir Nivras, Li'et Nasa, B'chef Sokol. Together. Azai Melech Shemo Nikra Adon Olam.
May we move from strength to strength as we go on our way. May the blessings that we share with each other travel with us so that we can share them with the rest of the world. May the word shalom, which means wholeness and completeness, be our guide. And may we really find ourselves more whole every time we come into each other's company and take that with us to share with the rest of the world. We move in joy and in respite and in everything good. And most of all for Ari, in a huge sigh of relief. Okay? Shabbat shalom, everybody.
Shabbat shalom. Please join us in the social hall.